all connected online. I see over 20 people already dialed in online as well. Because this day will ever be remembered as the day that we kicked off the maiden business and technical meetings of the North America chapter. And I think it's something that we've always waited for. And I'm glad that finally it's taking off. And again, with the kind of leadership we have running this chapter, Demola Lanisa and the rest of the executive committee members, including the advisory council rep, FME, there is no doubt that the North America chapter is going to really deliver the ambition of FNAPE and raise it to the greater heights. And again, like Demola mentioned, the goals of FNAPE, I'm sure, is what the North America chapter is going to help us to drive. Bring Nigeria to folks in the US. Bring that opportunity for networking, and also to continue to grow the technical knowledge base that we have as an association. So I'm quite excited, and I can only say congratulations for getting this started on a very good note. And again, the speaker for today, our own Dr. Nosa Omorodion, who FNAPE, you couldn't get it better than what you have today. So it's like you've got 4 in 1, right? He's a past president, he's a fellow of the association, he's a BOT member, and also advisory council member. So what else do you want? And again, the topic, clearly, I'm sure every single one of you is going to enjoy this topic. If you look at what is on the screen already, it is around the evolving oil and gas landscape. So I'm really glad, and I will stay. I know it's quite late in Nigeria, but I will try to stay as much as possible to enjoy the session. So on this note, I will say a welcome on behalf of the executive committee members and entire member, and from us here in Nigeria. Just accept our goodwill messages as we get into the business of the day. So back to you, Demola, and the folks in Houston.
Thank you very much, the President-elect, Mr. John Bosco. Thank you for your kind words with the President. Without much ado, we will proceed to other aspects of the program. So we have quite a number of our fellows in the house this evening. I can see some of them, and I would like to have some special recognition for senior members in the house today. But first, the chairman of today's program, Mr. Sam Ezugborie, who is currently the chief operations officer of FNAPE, Nigeria. We're very privileged to have you in our midst today, sir, at our maiden technical session. You're very welcome, sir. Thank you. I also see Dr. Jibril Mustafa of ExxonMobil. Thank you very much, sir, for your presence here today. And also former previous FNAPE president, and also president Africa Region, AAPG, Mr. Gilbert Odio, FNAPE. Thank you very much. So at this stage, I would like to call on the chairman at this stage. But before I call him, I know a lot of us know him, but allow me to tell you a little bit about him. So, Mr. Sam currently works with Seplat. He's on the board of Seplat Energy, and he has about 30 years extensive experience with the oil and gas industry. And he has also built a strong reputation in the domains of business safety. He's an ethical integrator, not just a geoscientist. He's a fellow of FNAPE and has been an active member of FNAPE for 30 years. And he has served the association in different and diverse capacities. He was chairman of the Port Harcourt chapter for 5 years. I was in Port Harcourt at that time, Total Energies. I remember very well, sir. And he's also a member of FNAPE's advisory board. That was between 2016 to 2017. And also the elections committee, and also the 40th anniversary of the Omorodion. amongst other positions. So he has served NAPE, extensively over the last 3 decades. Yeah. So he's a graduate of geology from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. He's happily married with 4 children, and his interests are inspiring people, and he's a strong advocate for continuous improvement, work simplification, organization efficiency, and productivity. And yeah, he also has other personal interests such as traveling, riding roller coasters. Found that quite interesting. His family went on holidays, and he actually gets his energy from facing challenges. I find that quite intriguing. So, can we please put our hands together to provide a few remarks before we get into the main business of the day?
Well, I don't know where to get from, but while I just walk up this place, take 1 or 2 minutes of and say, good evening, dear brothers and sisters, here in the United States, and good evening to our colleagues who have joined this session virtually. For me, it's really a singular honor to have been called upon to come and share this event. Great delight because NAPE, I've been part of NAPE for 30 years. In fact, my registration number is 94. So when I see this, and I see colleagues in the room, especially Oga Gilbert and others, it also gives me a lot of joy to be part of this. And first of all, I would say to Demola and colleagues who have given birth to the North American session of NAPE, congratulations and well done. And please, a round of applause to them. What you have done today and what you are doing today is a birth of a regional foundation and base for our dear association and by extension our dear country. And if you look at it also for the region, our dear sister here is not a Nigerian, but because of the tenets of FNAPE, she's already here with us. So you can see that there is an organic growth that is actually coming out of the event that we're having today. So having said that, I would say, please continue to be the ambassador of our country, because if you are out here, the opportunities that you see in the globe today are actually more in our African region. The environment where you live in North America is fully developed. They are transiting to energy, hybrid cars, electric cars. But in the country where you will live back home, the Kumbo cars are still very much in use. So again, and it's old ones. So in essence, the opportunities are rife at home. But it's important that we then move the energy, the foreign direct investment to our region. For us who are back home, we will continue to strive to create the enabling environment so that indeed, whoever brings in this capital into the country, we ensure that the capital is safe and secure. And that gives us a hope. So without going into Nosa's presentation today, I think it's important to really underscore the latent opportunities that exist in our country. So those are the opportunities that are hidden on the table, and Nosa is going to put them on the table. And when you engage, and you engage here, then it becomes your tools, the set of tools you have in your pocket to engage positively, so that the world will see the opportunities that are arriving in the country, and then begin to have the hunger to invest in those opportunities. So thank you very much, dear colleagues. And it is indeed an honor and privilege for me to superintend or chair this. When I saw Gilbert in the room, I was actually asking myself, should I? Or I just said to myself, give the cap back to Gilbert to chair the session. But in my own mind, they say that, more than I can, meaning the fire in the child's hand will never burn him and consume him. So when I saw that, I said, I will still do it And I would make sure that I recognize you and make sure that the honor is done to me because he is in the room here. So thank you very much, everyone. And enjoy the second promotion. Thank you.
Good evening, providers in the room, and of course, FNAPE members online, and every member. I think we are the critical point is technical meeting that is bringing but just before we do that, he is a man of many arts. People are so familiar with FNAPE in Nigeria. We know that we have a long history, nice belt. Both professionally and everything else, I mean, that a people man of his doing this. But I have a very, very high level citation. I won't even call this citation. We've been talking to Organos of but for Luis, he doesn't like the limelight, but we try as much as possible to help something. So Organos, so I mean, I call him Organos, you don't mind me, so it's not. In terms of academic qualification, I don't think we finish this. But Organos started his academic career from the University of, Federal Institute of Technology, back BTech in applied geology back in not yet, but that was long time ago. Then he went to the University of Benin, where he had PhD in petroleum engineering. So now one in science engineering. Then from there, he was sent to the University of Aberdeen. By the way, I'm an alumnus of University of Aberdeen as well. So it's a privilege to have attended. So he did project management at the University of Aberdeen, MSc. Then, God is so tasty for degrees and knowledge. So he proceeded to do his PhD at the University of Borden University in energy management. And of course, he's a doctor of Omorodion, right? So then he had quite a number of certificates in professional training. Among those are certificates convening strategy to action at Stanford University in the United States. Then he also had a certificate in leadership, INCAD Business School, Corporate Director Program in Harvard University. I think that is an ongoing. So it's not done yet. Then in terms of professional and affiliation and roles, Dr. Omorodion had been, like I said, a very, very known face in FNAPE. Back in 1996, he was the publicity secretary. Then in 1998, he was the secretary. Then in 2015, he became the president of FNAPE. Then in 2016, he became member advisor council. From there, he became in 2023 the most recent board of trustee member and advisory council in 2024. That is nothing. I'm sorry, just one consider then I'll be done. Then that is on FNAPE side. He is equally very active and he has been a major active participant in AAG. He has been the founding secretary of the African Region back in 2001. Later, he became the treasurer in 2005. 2010, he became the African Region president. And in 2013, advisory council member. So fast forward today, just last year, many of us witnessed when Dr. Omorodion was honored with the highest APG award. That is Michael Approaching Leadership Award. So he received that last year. Then he has also had a number of appreciate the day. So, ladies and gentlemen, today, Mr. Omorodion, sorry, Dr. Omorodion, he is our keynote speaker, and he will be speaking to us on the subject that we are all be looking at in Nigeria involving oil and gas industry. I don't know anybody that is better than him to speak to this, apart from his academic laurels. He has been in the industry for decades. So, as we join me to welcome Dr. Omorodion.
Very hot here, so let me take this off. You want to set the presence online?
Yes. Okay, so we'll just take this up.
Oh, yeah, you see how the presence is online, then
Yeah.
you need to stop.
So the NAPI president is online and he just wants to, have a few comments before we go into the presentation. Yeah. Apologies.
Live. Can take it after. Okay, maybe we'll take it after your presentation.
Hello?
Oh, okay.
Hello? We can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
All right, good afternoon. It's a pleasure for me to be here with you. I would like to especially thank everyone on behalf of the Board of Trustees, the Advisory Council, and the entire School of NAPI. It's given me a great privilege to extend this appreciation and commendation for making this dream happen. This is a significant milestone in NAPI, and we are very proud of everyone. I would like to say a special thanks to everyone that have been part of this journey. I would like to commend your dedication, your passion, your hard work, and your resilience for seeing the chartering of the North American chapter. We are very proud of everyone that have been part of this journey, and especially putting together this maiden edition of the North American Technical Business Meeting. We are really proud of you. This is a significant milestone, and I cannot wait to see the growth of the North American chapter. As the president of NAPI, it's a privilege for me to witness the startup of the North American chapter, and I want to assure that the executive of the North American of full support of the NAPI HQ for your programs. Personally, I would have loved to be there in person, but for office exigency, I couldn't be with you. So I want to say thank you to everyone that has made this dream to come to pass. It's a significant milestone in the history of NAPI, and we cannot wait to see the growth of the North American chapter. Let me also use this opportunity to thank Lake Oil for the sponsorship. This also reinforce the commitment of Lake Oil as a corporate sponsor to the goals and the values of NAPI. So on behalf of everyone from Lagos, Nigeria, we want to say thank you. We are with you, and we will definitely support in every way we can to say that this is the beginning of a greater things to come in NAPI and to connect with all the NAPI folks all over the world. I want to thank you for keeping the goals of NAPI flying. Our ideas is to find oil and gas, bring it together, knowledge, exchange innovative ideas, and also collaborate on how we do the business of oil and gas better. So thank you very much, and I welcome each and everybody to this inaugural technical business meeting of the North America chapter. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, I can move on to get started. Yeah, before I dwell into the topic, you can roll out the entire slide so we don't have to waste more time with that. I just want to make a few acknowledgements, but it will be improper of me to start without acknowledging some of those key people that are here, being the past president and the fellow of nothing. So in no particular order, first of all, a very big thank you to the Modern team for making this dream a reality. At the end of the presentation, you will see a slide that the pioneers and we talk about that. Luckily, one of the person who bettered this idea is online, Chisholm. So I'm probably going to ask her to say one or two words about my presentation. So let me start from there, no particular order. Anytime you're in the room and there's a government official present, start with them. So sitting behind there is a very good friend, a fellow of FNAPE, a former leading chapter coordinator, and the MD of NNPC refineries. So what they've done, NNPC, in following the organization, all the refineries were merged together. The MDs were downgraded to GM, and somebody was put on top as the coordinator. So when you have issues with refineries not working in Nigeria, luckily we have the man seated there carrying for that. So in the MD and coordinator of NNPC refineries is Nigeria. Karen, thank you for coming on. And yeah, I met all of you on that. If I can see Chike from Secretary for FNAPE, thank you for coming to Montreal and the rest of the members on that table. And on this table, of course, is a very distinguished citizen of the country, the National Merit Award holder, Dr. Charles Nosa is equally chairman of Nosa, one of the new multinational companies. Sitting next to him is Amelia. Amelia heads the local service companies in Angola. Amelia, thanks for coming. And of course, on this table are people that I've known almost all my life. I've worked with them. You've heard them talk about, I call him EGO. If you don't know what EGO is, EGO means ego. Anytime you are broke, you are looking for money, go and meet him. Ego. Thank you very much for coming. Sitting next to him is, of course, a very good friend, Bartley, and of course, the former vice president of NAPE, MAJ, that's what I call him. And everybody in the house, I can't go on to call one at each of you, but at the end of the day, we will get there. So let's go to the topic proper. Look, the slide before that, the one before that, slide 2. So, I don't want to say about who I am, just for clarity, this is who I am. Again, and next slide. No, that's slide 2. You missed out something. Did you edit the slide? There's a whole lot of information that has been yanked off for this. Anyway. Okay.
Wow. It's an animation.
Sorry. I like to do this because we are in a NAPE meeting. So just like to flaunt my NAPE affiliation, my NAPE records, and my NAPE history. So up there, the roles that played in NAPE, beneath there is the roles that played in the APG. And proudly been part and parcel towards supporting these men and women here that work very hard to make North America chapter come true. Next slide. So this is an outline of what we're talking about. We'll start with the introduction. And then from the introduction, we'll delve into the Nigerian oil and gas industry. We'll look at the evolution, the market concentration, then we'll zero in on the PIA, right? A lot has been said about the PIA, so we're not going to discuss the PIA, just going to roll out some of the gains and the PIA in action. Then from there, we'll talk about challenges, typical challenges, and how those challenges, if well harnessed, can lead into opportunities.
And at the end of the day, what will be the takeaway? After that, we come to a conclusion. And the conclusion may be to be sure that we all listen attentively. So don't be surprised if I call one or two people and say, can you summarize all that I've said? So somebody in the audience might be called upon to do the conclusion on my behalf. Thank you. Next slide. So this is Nigeria, a country that is blessed, endowed with over 200 million people. And rumors or statistics shows that come the year 2040, we may be up there. We're growing up. We may be up there as one of the top 3, 4, 5 most populated countries in the world. A country of 200 million people with almost 40% today do not have access to electricity, no access to energy. We have the second largest reserves in Africa, about 37 billion barrels and 208 TCF. And the rate we are growing, population explosion, it aligns with the projection that come by the year 2040, the energy demand would have grown by 30%. And this brings me to my experience during the week. I was privileged to attend the CERAWeek during the week. And I was at CERAWeek 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was at CERAWeek. This week at CERAWeek, trust me, the difference was like night and day. When I attended CERAWeek 2 years ago, I left there depressed, almost thinking that I need to go look for another job, need to go into another profession, because all that I could get then was downhill fossil fuel, no more oil and gas. But today, 2 years after, a lot has changed and the composition is totally different. If I didn't want to keep in, I had to go from CERAWeek this year, was from the GCO's address, when he said, look, everybody talks about energy security. But as far as he is concerned, the composition should be energy availability. It's when energy is available, you are able to access it. You are able to utilize it, that you eventually get to worry about energy security. So that's a key word, energy availability and energy access. Next slide. So this was a graph I picked as well, just to lead on to the conversation proper. And just a picture of our production history over the last 12 months. I'm focusing on post-PIA, focusing on what has happened in the last 12 months and how we can build on those challenges. There's no point in going about 20, 40 years ago. So if you look at it, production has been a bit consistent in the last 12 months, with a bit of up and down, but average, we've been doing average of about 1.5, 1.4 in the last 2 months. Next slide. Is it okay if I calm down? I'm bending my neck too much, if you guys don't mind. So looking at this slide, over the last 7 decades, the oil and gas industry has undergone I don't use the word revolution, but it has undergone a lot. A lot has happened in the last 70 years. That the things that stood out in the last 70 years, come rain, come sunshine, consistently we've been amongst the top 2 producers in Africa. It's been Nigeria and sometimes Angola. That's not debate. We Today, I have over 30 direct upstream players and over 260 companies. Production in Nigeria today is primarily controlled by the 5 IOCs across the 3 terrains: onshore, shallow, and deep offshore. And we're also beginning to see increasing involvement of independent and indigenous operators in the country. And with the advent of the involvement of the independent and indigenous operators who are equally becoming important players, the high upstream potential of Nigeria has only been further validated. That's about the past and present in the background. Please feel free to stop me at any point in time, but I want to start the conversation. And if you think I need to further clarify and show more light on any particular bullet points, please stop me. Having looked at the background, considering the fact that we sit again on about 37 billion barrels, with 31 or 5.9 or 6 condensate. There's one chart I wish I'd be able to lay my hands on for this bullet. I would have loved to be able to show you, when you talk about production, which one comes from onshore, which one comes from offshore. Maybe it's an information I'll share separately with North America so they can circulate it to the rest of the group. So it's good to talk about production, but it's equally more important to know which of the terrain is a bigger contributor, whether it's deep water, whether it's onshore or offshore. So the likes of Dr. Sazua are training their heart to the rig as an indigenous player. Many of his type are coming in. And like you're aware, not so long ago, there was a license round in Nigeria. Almost about 60 blocks or 57 blocks were thrown open. And according to DPR, on NUPRC, those 60 blocks were sitting on a reserve of almost about 130 million barrels. So, opportunity to unlock new potential about 630 billion barrels. Imagine what that would do to what we are today. Now let's take a look at the outlook. There's no doubt that we are at a very pivotal time in the oil and gas industry today. We're dealing with several challenges, which include high cost of operation and low carbon competitiveness. These are eventually results in reduced investments. So talking about the outlook as well.
Sunday ain't gonna be no simple, look.
Okay. On the outlook, we are beginning to see divestments, right? Without saying much, in this room, you see stuff like that. You see ExxonMobil there. I'll leave it at that. So one thing that is, it's very early for the industry. It's a normal business practice everywhere under the sun. You go into a particular terrain, fired up, work out your economics. You are at a minimum template of what your returns should be. You beat the reserves, extract as much as possible. Your portfolio keeps on getting bigger. It gets to a stage you think that it makes less economic sense than it made when you just started. But it's time for you to move on. So it's a normal global practice. We've witnessed a flurry of divestment in Nigeria lately. The Seplat, ExxonMobil ongoing. The Shell story we all know. Now, Orlando. And we are told that many more will happen very soon. The beauty of all of this is that in the midst of all of this, we need to see the Nigerian oil and gas industry is not only going through an incubation, but it's maturing. Because of how we started, which I'm always proud to tell them every time, because of how we started, compared to the likes of Seco, the likes of Petrobras, the likes of Statoil, the likes of Eni, we all started about the same time. But we had different focus in terms of trajectory. While those countries focus their attention in building their national oil companies to eventually mature to become commercially focused, we focused as a nation on supporting the IOCs to operate. And over the period of years, a crop of homegrown competencies emerged. And this eventually bettered a very thriving independent industry. Take it or leave it. Today, Nigeria is probably one, used to be two, probably as the fastest growing crop of independence in the world. We have service companies shooting out, we have operators coming out. There's hardly any successful service company or any successful local Nigerian company today that you don't find the product of an IOC either running or steering. So it's been, in a way, it's been a blessing in disguise. The focus on supporting the IOCs to develop homegrown competence has eventually paid off. And today we are seeing this series of divestments. So one of the benefits, one of the good things we're beginning to see, call it an outlook, is the emergence of a more commercially focused NOC. Do you agree with me?
Sure.
So there's no doubt that across these terrains, with a result of about 37 billion barrels of crude oil, and gas of about 207 or 280 TCF, the potential for the upstream sector for Nigeria is not in any way in doubt. Let's move to the next slide. Now, this is the industry itself. Everybody here knows about the load period. Everybody knows that the first company that spotted that locked, just this is the only time I will say that I'm here as Nosa, but proudly, SLB, then Schlumberger, successfully locked the first well in Nigeria. That's by the way. But the Olympic, that was in 1956, through Shell. And over the years, see the movement. From there, between 55 and 66 and 52, we saw the emergence of new big players, Gulf, Elf, Ajib, Teneco, Mobil. I joined Mobil in Bookshop House. He was there. He was my boss then. So many of you that joined Mobil later joined Mobil not at Bookshop House. You joined Mobil at Mobil House. He was there as well, so I remember. MJ, you were in NNPC then. This was CMS Bookshop House. No, CMS Bookshop House. I'm a product then. Because I remember then, all the companies were concentrated around CMS. I was at Bookshop House, 9th floor. Our current president was in Bookshop House then too. He was in Bookshop House, he was in Bookshop House. Now across the road then was Chevron. All you need is to walk the CBN building. That CBN building was gone. Yeah. They were right behind CBN building was Gulf, and then the other annex somewhere in PI. Shell has remained the only state power that has not moved. That same building. So in 71, Nigeria joined OPEC. 77, we bettered the national economy. 89, LNG. That's a different story when I talk about LNG. We remember there was a time that almost every 18 months, Nigeria was releasing a new LNG. And the projection then was that we're going to become the #1 LNG company in the world. At the time we were doing that, countries were begging us to buy our gas, and we're doing shakara. But today, it's the reverse of the story. It reminds me of the story Chief Oyibo told us at one of the NAPE meetings many years ago. He said, when he just joined this industry, those days when they used to go to the field, they welcomed them with pepper soup. They welcomed them with fish. But years later, when they go to the same place, they welcome them with cutlass. And those that go today, you know what they welcome you with. So in 1993, the first deep water in Nigeria, I'll let you, and I'm not going to join the debate of who spotted the first deep water well in Nigeria, but about that same period, Shell did, and that same period, Statoil, then Allied Energy did, because they spotted their well, then deep water was qualified as 200 meters water depth. And I remember Statoil BP Amoco venture was Statoil BP Amoco with Allied Energy. They spotted theirs about that period as well too. But the great thing is that that same period was when the Deep Offshore Inland Basin Production Act was vetted. Fast forward many years later, Kobani is a product of that. In 2002, the first commercial marginal field bid round. There's been a couple of discretionary marginal fields award, but the first commercial bid round was run in 2022. And about that same period, in 2025, we had, if I'm right, our first commercial open licensing round, where we tried to mirror what was obtainable in Brazil by coming to what we call the LCD, a reserve 5-10% of the block for a Nigerian company. It was an attempt to try to see if we can encourage local companies to participate, but that turned out to be, it didn't achieve the desired result. But it still remained one of the most transparent licensing rounds in the country, because the bidding round was like this. You come with your CDs, you play it, everybody sees what is running on Excel, your bid is run openly, and a winner emerged. It wasn't done behind anything. Then in 2010, it was the Revolutionary Logic Act, the Local Content Act. So let's move on to 2019, 2021, where the PIB was passed. It became the PIA. The following year was a big success story about Kobani. And just this year, about a month ago, a couple of weeks ago, 3 game-changing executive orders were released by the president aimed at easing this, aimed at making doing business in oil and gas in Nigeria lots easier. So with all of this, what's been the impact? Next slide. Questions? I like this.
You said we can.
Yeah, no, I like this. And if you ask me a question and you think you can answer it, it's coming. Let's bring it participatory.
Can we go back to the previous slide? Thank you.
coal mining, I can see development projects. Yeah. And that gives me a lot of concern. So yes, Shell drilled the early exploration wells, but I think last year or maybe 2022, there were things in public about President Buhari traveling to commission coal mining development projects. We saw gas flaring, but up to now, no one can lay their hands on the data. And what we had was Schlumberger is not well that was drilled in quote appraisal. So is coal mining really real? Because the development of the exploration wells that Shell drilled, a lot of people can access the data. And you could see what was drilled, what was logged, the gas, the interval in the feeding trucks. So there was nothing commercial. You look at the structural map supporting where was drilled, and the proposed well that NNPC drilled, one of the targets really proving what Shell had drilled. And
so I can answer that question.
Are we really calling this coal mining development? Is it real or not?
Okay, so I don't know whether Karen wants to give it a shot because NNPC here, but before I put you on the spot, a couple of things I can tell you. Coal mining drilled by Shell many years ago was basically on 2D data. And between the time Shell worked on it and when NNPC eventually worked on it, a lot has changed. Newer data were captured. So there's been a lot of improvement on the data. So as a geoscientist, you know what that means. That's number one. And then number two, today, coal mining has moved from FES to NPDC and to NEPL, sorry. And it is now in a development stage. So in terms of the size of the reserve, only NUPRC is able to answer that question. But one thing I know is that it must have been seen commercially viable enough to proceed to the next stage. So, I mean, let's look at the science. Let's discuss science, let's discuss geology. ExxonMobil here is a good story. I don't know, I think, is it Ito or Ubit that you first drilled in 1969 or thereabouts? And with the advent of 3D and horizontal drilling, you went back to that same well, a well that was almost watering out, declined production, with improved data and new data. When you went back to it, it turned out to be, it was reappraised, it turned out to be extremely massive. The only thing I hold against this gentleman was the time he was done. I was a young, small geologist. They all got bonus. Well, we youngsters, I didn't get anything. So, the fact that we drilled a well 20 years ago, it wasn't successful. Doesn't mean that 20 years later, with improved data, new technology, look at it again. Doesn't mean that it cannot be a success. I hope that answers your question. So, Karim, we're having a conversation. I'll tell you the science. So coal mining is moved to development and is under the purview of NEPL today.
Thank you, Dr. Nosa. Who was the person that had coal mining history? There's no life now. We are already said that people with GC or NM are very neat on it. Already NB right now, but looking for different groups looking
yeah.
Those are things we are working. I believe before the end of this, we're going to see a lot of that.
And if I may add, what you saw, the supposing coal mining was a different field. That it might be the same block. You have different fields. Comali has moved beyond that, but there's still other prospects that we can have in that block. So let's just take one more comment and then we'll move on.
Yeah, I think that there are several publications of coal. So let's say we have publications, multiple publications. I'm just looking at the production profile. So I'm just going to search. It's just the fact that thank you. You're making my advantage. Commanding is real. I understand what commanding is real. So can we move on? Please, let's make an interactive event. If anybody wants to stop again, let's do that. So between 1980 and 2024, you've seen the transition from consolidated industry now into a fragmented industry. Gone were the eras. If we were actually trying to capture this, apologies, what we should have added should have been mobile producing. What we should have added should have been adding Gulf, F, not even total. Don't you remember from Elf, it moves to total, from total to total finish Elf, from total finish Elf to total energies. Yeah, so it's amazing, and this is what should learn anybody. This is the kind of success story you want to listen to every time. I'm sure 10 years down the line, if anybody travels to Guyana, it's not just going to be ExxonMobil and Chevron only, or S. You're probably going to have, who says by then, probably will have Bassi and Son exploring over there, or Dr. Sasua won't have carried the success there. So this is a natural evolution and expects of nothing but success. And I hope this sort of fortress where you're coming from. And again, let me just say something. It is important. It's Nigerians like me and you, very well trained, that work in national oil companies. So it's important we always it's important to recognize that. Okay. So, and I think I don't know of anybody that will falsify contour apps. You may, like he said, you may have varied exchanges and what's the side or what is there or not. Bright spots are bright spots. Signs are signs. Your logs don't lie. That's why you have neutron density. That's why you have your gamma ray resistivity. They don't lie. It doesn't mean that it has to be run by you for it to be real. It's a tool. It can be run by anybody. It does not have to be run by A before it becomes an acceptable norm. So this slide speaks for itself. From the 80s, we have moved from a consolidation of 5 big companies to today over 100, over 150, 11, how many? Over 260. From 5 companies to over 260 companies. Many of you remember during the days of Babangida, Professor Jerry Ghana, as chairman of MANSA, when this guy, Peter Nebulua, on this MANSA, this thing we're talking about Nigeria, the need for Andrew not to check out, says, scratch ground small, you find, that's how I got to know those that are old here. Scratch ground small, you find, none of you. Ground small, we are a blessed country. We are a blessed country. Despite the fact that today, over 30% of discovered proven established hydrocarbon in Africa, State and Nigeria, we are still yet to optimally exploit our resources. And this will be good news to many of you that are here. Just feel free to stop me anytime. I like the way you stop me. So that's how we have a conversation. Next slide. Now let's look at the game changer. The 2021 PIA represents a major milestone and has introduced key changes for participation in Nigeria oil and gas industry. You will all agree with me. Whether it's concluded or not, in the last 2 years, we've witnessed 2 open licensing rounds. We are told to expect a few more before end of the year. This practice is new. Look, there's been time in the past, after the 2002 marginal field licensing round, and after the failed 2005 round, there's been many licensing rounds that get started, but never got completed. We've had one start to finish. They've been awarded. One of them is here. There are some at various stages of development, and there are some that probably don't know what to do with their field. I'm looking for expertise like yours to come and support them. If only we begin to think that beyond the world of exploration and production, there's something called economics and profitability that makes you to understand and appreciate your environment better. Then we'll appreciate the value that we as oil finders bring to this business. So, 2 major led actions from the PIA that has changed how we look at this industry. Thanks to the PIA, we've had 2 licensing rounds. We're going to have more rounds coming up. Thanks to the PIA, the terms have been looked into. It may not be everything everybody wants, but it's been called baby steps. A bit of improvement compared to where we're coming from. Thanks to the PIA, we now have a more commercially focused national outcome. Thanks to the PIA, the regulatory body has been churning out regulations. They've churned out regulations in the last 12 months than they have churned out in the last 40 years. The industry is changing. It is changing. Next slide. The slide before then, something I missed out. That will lead to the next slide. So you'll see, thanks to the PIA, there are provisions that will require industry to make decisions. And thanks to PIA, there are provisions that has required government to effect changes whereby the policies, the commercial and regulatory arms are separated. I'm sure if I ask anybody today, DPR, you're going to say, what's that? DPR has been dismembered into, who can tell me before I go to the next slide? I told you this would be participatory. Emeka, I didn't ask you to laugh. Who can tell me? NMDRA and NUPRC. Next slide. So, from the petroleum industry, I'll spend the next 2-3 minutes to just take this in. It's a lot to talk through, but take it in. From one regulator, we have 2 industry regulators now. Thanks to the reformed governance structure propelled by the PIA, we have authority which regulates the midstream and downstream. We have been commissioned to regulate the upstream. NNPC is now an incorporated business entity with pure focus commercial functions. Look at the administration as well. Gone were the days of offering the whole of Katy as one big block, or you want to offer the whole of Sugarland as one block, or you want to offer the whole of Elif as one big block. So you take that Sugarland and now cut it into Mississippi or Missouri. Exactly. Yeah, as I mean, you're small, I don't need it. So you take it. So it's addressed a lot of the concerns, some of the concerns that people put forward. Virtually everything the industry was craving for. And you have the upstream operating expenses as well, which hopefully should complement the effort of the NNDCO, this body in Paragos, Niger Delta, NDDC. Nobody has taken a look at the one, I'm sure we have so many people here, the fiscal framework, from a single tax to a dual tax system. Maybe when we go into discussions, we can talk a bit more about that. But I'm sure we'll come back to this slide. A few points in my mind, nobody has brought up. I hope when we go to discussions, we will look at it in details. Next slide. This is the one that, how many of you remember this book? And Ngudu Mantiogo, it says, "Weep not my child." So look at this, "Weep not my country." This should make anybody sad. This is heart-wrenching. There is nothing proportional or relative on this slide. You have a nation that sits on 57 billion barrels of oil equivalent. And in so many years, all it's been able to attract is an investment worth $3 billion. On the same continent, you have one that sits on this and is able to attract investment almost equivalent to what it has. Supposedly giant of Africa, 200 million people, God endowed, has been in this business for 70 years, are the largest crop independent in the continent, are the largest assemblage of resources in the continent, but yet it's only able to attract investment worth $3 billion. No. Good question. I think it's about, we're looking at this period. We're looking at that period. $3 billion. No. It's it. You have access to everybody here. How many of them have you brought to Nigeria to come and help effect change in Nigeria? The retired people, with all your network, your knowledge, they don't want to come. Tell them about fufu, tell them about mala, tell them about the return to love right, they will come. So me and you have a responsibility. We need to change this narrative. We can change it. We can change it. We need to change that narrative. It's nothing but perception. It becomes reality. No, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. There's reality, there's perception. But one thing that you can say, in the face of all the pendulum still this swing. Huh? People, so I know there's nothing to do to work on, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. But it's a reality. Yes, ETO, please, give me money. It's real. It's not possible.
Mogo used to produce a barrel of oil at $2.20 per barrel. Today, we're talking about 48 to something dollars per barrel. Sometimes you are, because of production, insecurity. How suddenly only security votes became more important industry than anything else. Everybody, military, everybody wanted security vote. They create the crisis, they bring the votes and everything to help you. So you invest a lot on things that are not related to oil, which are security. You put a lot into security. You are the government when it comes to roads. You are the government when it comes to electricity. You are the government when it comes to. You find out that if there are infrastructure and good and bad, whole number one listing is what makes people think twice about coming to do business place. They rather think about smaller places or welcome than us.
Yeah, I mean, very well said. I will not clap, but I will. I will not clap, but I will.
Last week, I think apart from the huge unit operating cost, what really happened is most of our facilities are huge. We have pipelines that's over 40, 50 years of age. So we need to revamp all this, and there's no more to carry out this. So you see that most of them, what they are doing is do nothing scenario. They were just producing all the what happened.
See, so, Karen, you see, that's not a tenable skill. We have regulatory body and supervisory body. They have a role to play. Everybody has their guards up and down. See, let me tell you, there is nobody in this world, not even yourself or myself, that is in the business of ensuring you get regulated by the regulator. You are out there to make money. If you are supposed to pay tax, and the man that's supposed to collect the tax does not collect the tax for you, you will never go on because this is my tax not collected. So I normally shut down that everybody has a role to play.
Thank you, Nosa. Aside from having this decline driven by several of these, you've told us about the opportunity that the independence.
There's still slight opportunities.
So it's best for us to understand with data what the independents should be doing. Most of them have marginal fields. Some of them have production in them. They are running after the production. And I don't know how that replacement, reserve replacement, that would easily bring in more money into this system. That's number one. We need to see that thing. Number two, I think it's just recycling of the IOC. You see, they'll move out of Nigeria and do certain things, jump to Mozambique because of the physicals, because of the economy, and because of what drives them. Many of them, you remember you also said maybe gas is the thing. They are running gas in certain places that benefits them. In Ghana, the physicals are very good for Exxon. Why shouldn't they be there? Why should they put their dollar in Nigeria when they can put their dollar in Ghana and make $1,000? So we need to go back to the drawing board so as to help our nation.
It's me and you that is going to the drawing board. Because money goes to where the opportunity is. There is nothing like sentiments in money. There are no emotions. Capital goes to where it finds opportunities. When Nigeria was good, everybody was there. But the same dollar you spend, if you spend the same dollar, I'm going to get less return. And I know if I take that dollar somewhere else, I get more returns. Come on. Okay, after you.
So just to add to the comment, right? I think the two sets of persons are observed. And what I would like to know is but the majority of operators, what we have seen, everybody comes into it, but they do not know the total, the cycle of the company. So everybody has a manual view of it. Right? They cannot attract funds or financing. They don't know how to go about it. But I don't want to go into the reality is that this challenge, the insecurity, the issues with the rule of law, on competitive fiscals, these are real issues. If you want to go from your office or your house, wherever you live in Lagos, Victoria, like Lekki, and you want to go to the airport, and your company has to take you there, they'll give you an escort. All of that counts to the cost of doing business. And the thing that we are taught, and I think everybody in the room has a role to play. And the role, what you can do to help the industry is to begin to talk about what makes us competitive. In forums, wherever we find ourselves, there are certain things that we need to talk about. And the more we keep talking about those things, someday, somehow, people will listen, people will hear, and something will be done. The beauty of it that in the last couple of months, we've seen some movements, and I'm sure people will talk about it. Right? We've seen some movement, but we're not there yet. But that 57 is real. The food is also real. Can you make money in Nigeria? Oh, yes. All the ingredients are there, but we need to tackle the first. That's.
No, thank you. Yes, let's take your comments. That's why it's interactive. We may now even have need for Q, and that's why it's interactive.
All right, thank you. The big elephant in the room is first, everybody has it. And it's also important to understand that every one of us have something, some role to play. But if you say that, I think the other thing that is also holding us down is if you look at the evolution from 5 to 260, 5 IOC at the point to 260 as of today. We also need to realize that the 5 are a bit fatigued. They have gone around for so long, and they are ready to go. And coming back to your point about infrastructure investment and keeping the infrastructure running, they are not going to do that. So for us as a country, we need to realize that the 5s have dressed the asset, and they are not going to put more money into it. So for us as a country, we need to begin to empower our own local 260s
Thank you, Sam. Sam is seminar, so you understand that. Sam is seminar, so you just give me the picture about everybody driver. So let's have it. Let's have an interaction, please. Well, it's the truth. Thank you, sir. It's a very difficult task to look at as a Nigerian. That's why I said, we look, take a picture. If there's anything you need to take away from here, it's now and one more like 3 flights. So that was the entire story.
Thanks. Those who spoke before me, I think they highlighted a lot of issues. 2 things I will raise. First, I think it will help the readers a lot if we put a context as a backdrop behind what we're looking at. First is the commodity part. So there is evolving energy landscape. A lot is going into LNG. Algeria has a lot of that. In fact, if you replot this Russia invasion of Ukraine, all the deals signed from EU with Algeria, you're going to get more investment dollars. Mozambique.
We're not going to further depression.
Mozambique is LNG. So you also look at Senegal, the Sangoma project LNG. Next corridor, Mauritania, that's the GTA LNG. So there is that commonality that a lot of the dollars LNG, but we have a problem where the gas master plan, things that will encourage a lot of gas discoveries, especially in deep water and even in the shallow water. They are not in place to really encourage, encourage investment in the gas sector. So it's something we also need to talk about.
So the idea is to entail that we have different fiscals for gas. We have for oil. So we'll come to that. But
the other thing I'll add is, Mr. Patsy, you also have to look at the maturity of this basin. The fair comparison will be Egypt, Angola, and Nigeria. And you've seen how projects evolved in those countries. The rest are more like new basin entry. I mean, Mozambique, the last 5 years, has seen a lot of dollars. You expect fiscal to be very encouraging. Senegal, see how much Woodside is pumping there, and a host of those smaller countries. So it's something to also context here.
So there are a couple of slides that I would have loved to show. I didn't get the permission to show it, but just to get it. There's a licensing round coming up very soon. And for the first time, we're putting aside things like signature wells. Nothing can be more aggressive than that. Nothing can be more aggressive like that. And I disagree with the fact that Mozambique is getting more money because they are new. You should get more money because we are a public structure. We started LNG before Mozambique. When they first started LNG, Qatar and US were looking up to Nigeria. Today we're finding when they were struggling to evolve from 27 to 28. So let's go there. I'm trying to be calm. Very, very calm. I took a lot of chamomile before this to calm me. If you press play, I will open the Pandora. But to cut a long story short, we can include one this. And we all said, I remember when a friend of mine, the former Irish ambassador to Nigeria, when we were having a conversation, and when he shared with me the cost the embassy incurred on security alone versus what it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Come on. You can even say it. But these are all self-inflicted. And the bad news is, because we are a giant of Africa, and we're showing this as a norm, other countries coming from behind are beginning to emulate this. They are beginning to imbibe the culture of militancy as a way of resting attention within their country. If you're a parent, you don't want your kids to be picking up bad habits. Next slide. So, but take note of this. This, like I said, should give you a lot of headache. If you have a representative, take a picture, send it to your senators, send it to your House of Reps, send it to everybody. Then after this question, No, there is no way. See, our problem is not resources. It's not resources, neither is it access. It's just assurance. That's what it is. Assurance. So the leader was right when he said, give me assurance. Next slide. Oh gosh, why am I doing this again? Why am I doing this again? The cost of operating, this is even very conservative with all that we've talked about. It's super, super conservative. If I have $10, you want to buy stock. How many of you play in that market? You look at the stock options. There's a record of one that gives you $2 return. One gives $30 return. Which one will you put your money in? Which one will you put your money in? You think it's for any reason that anyone is here in the US, it's not really smiling. Because it's thinking of Bloomberg. Every time you check Bloomberg, I think those investments are yielding. Well, bring some of those Bloomberg money to Nigeria. So this itself speaks for itself as well. So I'm not going to spend much time. So you can read through it and let's have a conversation as well. What we need to do differently and where we want to be. You took away the 40%. Take it back now. Go back to the 40%. That was fast. Why? Let it circulate. Come on, bring it in. Look at it. Because we won't see this. I'm not giving this slide to anybody. You think you're going to get copies of it, you're not going to get it. I'm not leaving this slide with anybody. So look at it. This slide is not going anywhere, but just look at it. Because it is NAPE, because the focus is the NAPE community, that despite all of this, to let you guys know that your competence can still be harnessed back home. That is why this conservation comes. So all that we have said so far, they are all opportunities. We'll talk about governance. You've all spent your life working for IOCs. You are all doctors in governance. We talked about structures. This is what you bring. We need you to bring that to companies like Hilltop that is just starting. The structure in there. Let him know that the business of oil and gas is not like the business of tomato. If you put a couple in there, don't expect to get any meaningful return in the next 3-4 years. Borrow money. This business is run on money. It's for a reason I invite you to be here as well. So, in a nutshell, all that we've talked about, let's break it down into 3 categories: operational, fiscal, and regulatory. The one thing that is non-debatable, which is extremely conservative, is that averagely it costs 40% more to do business in Nigeria than to do in even Angola that is just recovering from war. Does that speak volume? And what are the key operational issues? What are the key fiscal issues? And what are the key regulatory issues? How many of you, even despite the fact that a big effort has been made in streamlining regulations, today we still have issues of overlapping authorities on some of our aspects of business. Sometimes we don't know whether it is agency or it is agency. Next slide. So this is further breaking down those challenges and saying, what are the enablers? What are the enablers that can help address some of the operational challenges we talked about? What are the enablers that can help normalize the fiscal challenges we talked about? And what are the enablers that can assist regulatory policies? And with all this done, what will be the potential results? We are going to have increased oil and gas production and new discoveries. There will be growth in talents and capabilities. And if you come back next year to look at this presentation, if you are kind enough to invite me to come back next year, you do all of this, I'm sure we will move the needle from 57.3 to maybe 57 double digits. But the bulk of these issues are self-inflicted. You don't need rocket science to resolve all those issues. An executive order was pronounced about 3 weeks ago. If followed the letter, we expect there to be some immediate behavioral change in the sector. Immediate behavioral change. The only problem we have basically is that we're not short of orders. We're not short of regulations. We need the same quantum of feverish patriotism that make us to shun down regulations should equally be paid on the people that implement it. There's no point. You get a new house, put everything state of the art, and then you bring your workers that were still living in your analog house to come to your digital house without training them on how to execute it. It will be nothing. Karim, that's a message for you to take back. And I hope you are listening. What we are saying, we need the same focus to be paid on the executioners, the implementers, the people, the resource that will deliver this. Next slide, I'll be taking note of this. Yeah. From BCD, from Nigeria, from history, from evolution, from the challenges to opportunities. With all that we have talked about, this is one major benefit that we expect to reap. I mean, it's for this number 2, my friend Sam will tell you, let me take this thing quick. And I'll get better returns from it. We have world-class resources and untapped gas potentials. Almost every policymaker, like the GCEO at CERAWeek on Tuesday during this management roundtable session, he said Nigeria is a gas country. People say that it's a gas country. Not only are we a gas country, we are equally and largely, not relatively, pick my word, a largely underexplored country. We got into the business of production, agricultural production, when nobody else was doing it. Our success created a lot of laxity. The quest to drill deeper, to go further, just wasn't there at that point in time. haven't made so much success within the shallow offshore. There was minimum ginger to go deeper. Look at the mega finds everywhere. Tell me where the mega finds are. At what depth are they discovered? Tell me the mega finds. At what depth are the mega finds at? Have we explored comparative depth in our own basins extensively? Let's have a conversation. Please, bring it up. No, let's have it. That's why we're here. Exxon is not Nigeria. Of course.
Yeah, because there are areas where you cannot drill the, even if you think that there's something there, because you have to do your core pressure predictions, and they limit you. Otherwise, there will be blowouts. There's areas that feel maybe something, but you are restricted, and you can map that throughout. We've done mapping all of that throughout the whole Niger Delta, and we know these things.
Okay, so we'll come to that. Everybody decide. You will be a non-ranger. I disagree. Joshua disagree. Everybody disagree. Let me let Joshua talk first as well, please.
The core pressure issues in the past has not only to Nigeria, right? So if other companies can explore outside Nigeria in those depths, with the technology that's widely available, I don't see any reason why we cannot do that.
Take that out of my mind. But as we're talking, please, somebody should help me to read this. There are questions that are coming from online. Say they cannot wait. They want to ask them on the spot as well. Somebody should please read out the questions as we go on. So we'll take them. So we can have a lively conversation. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I was saying that if the policy in the government doesn't keep setting good, because I remember when we drilled to 16,000 and the well got dry, we didn't find it. We couldn't get government approval to write it off as dry well. No, this was between the shallow side to Ono area, yes. Because we drilled to 16,800 and some. It was a joint venture where between Obo, Shell, and Chad, just to go and test sands that we saw on seismic in that area. But we couldn't. You have to enable technology and enable kind of incentives to go deeper. If you don't, then it is difficult for somebody to keep looking for projects.
So we still have a couple of slides to go before we go to Q&A profile. One comment from you. We'll take 1-2 questions. Go on. We'll pause. We'll take 1-2 questions.
Yes, I think that you have to look at it. You have to look at the full spectrum. So the thought is that if you go deeper in the delta, you need gas. Then the question is, what do you do with the gas? Up until recently, we're all flaring, right? You didn't have a full spectrum gas policy. When you take the gas, you refine it. So it's not a case of you find something, you most likely you would if you target the sweet spots. The technology is there. Gulf of Mexico has over 30,000 feet right now. And the other terrains where they've done 30,000 feet. The deepest one in the delta, 17, 18,000. So you have it's never the deepest. And it's at the fringes in those states. But can you get to 30,000? Yes, the technology is there. Yes, technology to manage the HPHT regimes. But what then would happen if you find gas? We're talking about 276 here, right? No more gas. So then if you find more gas, what do you do with it? So, and that is the reason why I talk about incentives, and I do agree with it completely, because when it's a discovery or a non-discovery, you still need to write off that. Sorry. Now, the government should provide those incentives in fiscals, in subsidiary legislation to enable exploration gets to those depths. Definitely. We have not scratched the surface. Really, we have not scratched the surface. But what do you do with the full spectrum is the question.
So I'm happy we're having this conversation, and I'm happy the NAPE president and president-elect are listening, because by June this year, we have an engagement with the National Assembly. They've invited us just to put NAPE, and what we're going to do is to focus on the challenges. The challenges me and you encounter in our day-to-day business of finding out. Let's just take one question and move ahead.
For how long are the challenges in the Nigerian oil and gas it has like 5 years.
Okay, so we've taken the first one. So the answer to that is easy. The challenges have been on before discovery. Because this business did not start 70 years ago. It started many, many years ago. It started many, many years ago. Bitumen in Lagos, 1907, it started many, many years ago. The challenges have been recurring, and the challenges have been creating opportunities. So let's move on. Let's move on. Opportunities for investors in Nigeria. And we are trying to focus on terrain by terrain. We've said a lot about deep water. You see, I showed you the reserves of other countries in Africa. Except for probably one or two, not many of them come close to 13 billion. Not many of them come close to 13 billion of hidden reserves. Hidden reserves. Everybody has said that measures need to be in place to create active business environment. We agree. We'll talk about that every time. And one thing I tell people, if government does its own bit, listens, and give you what you ask for, the onus lies on you. The onus lies on you to encourage me as government to do more, to make me believe that I put my faith in what you said you need by giving me what you want. Because there are many times people ask for incentives, ask for this, you get incentives right at the start. They now bring in another story of A, B, C, D, E, F. I'm sure some of you know what I'm talking about. I want to get into details. So, the deep water, obviously, if we want to live and double what we have and be up there, move from where are we today, 9, 8, or what's our position? Reserves globally. We aim to move towards the top 5. The deep water is a major enabler. And our deep water still has a lot of potentials. Luckily, we're told, luckily there's a big round ongoing now as we talk. That is focused on the Downing Basin. 7 blocks. And I think they're done with the technical stage. They're moving to the commercial consideration very soon. If that is completed with the right players under this new fiscal, we expect to go back to the 90s, the days of the Fanfa, Agbabi, era, Norris, other company, Norris, owned by Bion. Yeah, Norris. Go back to those days. So the message is not only potential, not only do we have the potential to really be up there, we already have it. It's not a potential. It is there. We just need to enable us to be able to grab it and to operate on that level. Next slide. Look at it. Is this not enough excitement? we have a total of 220 open acreages off the ground, outside the ones that we put on offer, outside the ones that are going to be taken back. You have 220 open acreages. I love what Renaissance just did. It's a challenge to all of us in terms of EFP. Because as geologists and engineers, we're trained to be docile. We are trained to be docile. Look, our environment made us become entrepreneurs, but we are trained to be docile. Yeah, we just need to step out. And the ginger with slides like this. Look at Renaissance. Look at Henry Western. Look at the story of Niger Delta. It was a group of friends that came together. A group of friends that came together. People just like on this table now, 5 of you can come together and say, look, you've got this varied expertise. Let's go for 1 or 2 of these blocks. What do you need? Is it somebody to do the politics? We'll look for one person to be chairman, and then together we come together. But we need to each other, and that is why there has never been any forum I go to speak that I do not always refer to what has become my planet, which is E&P. We're in the business of exploration and production. But you cannot be a good, perfect oil finder if you do not understand the other E&P, which is environment and politics. Understand the environment and politics. Economics and profitability. Understand the economics and profitability. And then the last E&P, you are able to enhance your portfolio. If you, let me play pastor. If you take this forward, you will be a very successful E&P. We need to step up, not just exploration and production. Like I remember what Engineer Will used to tell us many years ago. You can be the best oil finder. You can be the best driller. If you are not able to translate this to commercial, to money, it's useless. And it's high time we step up, or else lawyers, accountants will take over this industry from us. We will become employees. But we can still play a part. We can still play a part. 220 blocks off of grab. Thank you. After the fact that you have 7 ongoing, you have 57 that have just been given out. It does not include the marginal things that are coming. It still does not include the ones that are related by part of the regulation that it is related to which gets to that. Next slide. The marginal fields. We talked about the blocks that are oncoming. I think the marginal fields as well. These are challenges this marginal fields encounter. Around these challenges are opportunities. Opportunities that can be brought in by the likes of Joshua, Exof, those of you that are here. I mean, these are the goals for the marginal fields, right? And the one that is missing where we can improve on is in the area of collaboration. It has worked very well with Henry Western. It's worked excellently well with Niger Delta and Arada. We have seen it evolving in Renaissance. We've seen it with Seplat Pillar. We've seen it with Seplat Aircrest through M&A. The beauty of all of these is look at the benefits. this was done with this. Many years ago, when IBB was president, he called his friends. He tapped their blocks. Take this, take this, take this, take this. Even my brother, that the son became governor, I won't mention his name because the state where I'm from, got one. They used to own a bank. I hope I've given enough hints. My brother, he used to own an airline. He used to own a bank. He has a university. Anyone? No, everybody, the friends of IPB, all got blocks free of charge. The essence, the goal there, see, love it, hate it, but do not challenge the intent. The intent was to create the Nigeria we have today. It may not have been well thought through, but that was the intent. Name them. The 1 year Muslim, they all got blocks free of charge. That's why sometimes they say, compare the wrong belly. You give somebody something for free, they didn't pay for it, they didn't understand the value. Once they have got blocks there, how many of them have actually added value? We want to have, how many of them have added value? How many of them are operating their blocks today 100%? How many of them have added on to that? So the 2020 Marginal Field was a great opportunity to do all of this. And what's the need for it for 1 or 3 years is that somebody has funding challenges. Many of you here have access to funding. Look for those partners, see how you can support them. Operating expertise. You are all retired experts from where you come from. You all bring governance. You have capacity. You have access to technology. You understand data. You understand facilities when they are aging. You can provide guidance. Next slide. This is pretty random. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. So I'm told that I'm limited base, I will not get to work, but this speaks for itself as well. This has been activities over the last 4 years. I mean, you could see there's been progressively incremental activities. Is this where we want to be? No. Can we be better? Yes. But progressively, you can see the number of exploration and appraisal wells have been drilled over the last 4 years. Development well drilled, as you can see. Re-entries and interventions, the capex, the average rig count. In the last 4 years, they've all been on an increase. So PIA is actually energizing some things. You may not. Next slide. So these are the key points for you to leave here with. And I've talked about it. There's no point in repeating it. Those critical enablers that we talked about, they need to be in place to ensure and grow investors' confidence. My last slide. Just about a couple of weeks ago, realizing that the industry cannot remain stagnant, the Minister of Petroleum, who doubled as the president, released his executive orders aimed at addressing some of the lingering challenges we talk about every day. Fiscal incentives, contracting costs, and the typical challenges we deal with local content. To ensure that the local content should not be delivered in such a way as to hinder development capacity to execute projects. But over and above, which is will be music to the ears of the IOCs is raising the JOA approval threshold to $10 million. That's significant. It may not be where we want to be, but in baby step, it is significant. Thank you. Next slide. I'm going to start from this presentation without acknowledging these people. The thought of a FNAPE chapter, North America, was not mooted in 2018. It's taking stride over the years for it to eventually mature. Those were two critical turning points when it was being incubated and I was invited to come and share ideas and support them on what to do. Based on the fact that we have vetted the UK chapter as well. So, before I step aside, I just want everybody in this room to please acknowledge and give this. Everybody in this photograph except me, a very kind of applause. I appreciate them for their efforts. She's online. She's online. So, ladies and gentlemen, that marks the end of my presentation. Thank you. I'm happy to take on questions. We have time. Gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this, ladies and gentlemen. I took time to just record the proceedings so that maybe you can do a quick recap. And if there is need for more questions and answers, first of all, I would like to thank you, Nosa. You really started off very well with high hopes through the evolution of oil and gas economic and production industry in Nigeria in the past 70 years. It took us to the journey of 5 IOCs to 260. You actually excited us a little bit more with the growth in the oil and gas reserves in Nigeria, growing populations, energy demand, and further excited us with the fact that we have improving fiscal and regulatory framework with the coming to life for PIA 2025, and then MPC Incorporated being more commercial. So we were looking forward, and it was really like an uprising kind of presentation until he came in with the two depressing slides, which in a way, if you invert them, then you see the opportunities. Every inverted problem presents you with an opportunity. So when you share the declining oil and gas investment between 2017 and 2022, and then the cost of operations, the CapEx on one hand, OpEx on the other hand, all of them moving in the wrong direction. That presents us with an opportunity. It has Nigerians in diaspora or Nigerians back home. And that is the call for action for every one of us in the room here who have brothers and sisters back home to really begin to ask ourselves the big question. And for me, the biggest takeaway is how can we make the cake bigger? There is cake in Nigeria. But at the moment, a lot of us are struggling to take lion's share of the cupcake. And just close your eyes for a moment and see for yourself what cupcake looks like. And you are struggling to take lion's share of it. Instead of growing the cake to be like this table, and if you take a chunk of it, you can make 20 cupcakes. And nobody will know that you have taken it. And again, we are all Nigerians, brothers and sisters. If you expand what we have also covered, I think the foundation and the anchor of our problem is corruption. God is very clear. We will address them. And it is in our hands to create a leveling environment to begin to attract the foreign direct investment in the country.
into the regions. And we can do it. It takes the determination of one person at the head of Home Affairs. You flipped from those depressing slides that created opportunities. You are trying to begin to now expand opportunities and the horizon and for every one of us here. Again, I don't want to repeat this. But even if you cannot influence the people in government, you can influence the outlook of bringing down the operating cost by bringing in technologies from here. And understanding fully well that no one is in business for charity. You are in business to make money. But you can create value in the society by adapting some technologies in the country, either to unlock the deep water space and the deeper drilling activities that we can drill up to 30,000 feet, and they are all possible. So it is possible, and it's in our hands to do it. So please, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, don't rest here because you are on this other side. We really have opportunities back home, and we need to take them more. So thank you very much. Let me now check if there are more questions online or in the room here that Nosa or anyone of us would like to address. Maybe let's start with the questions online, take a few more online, and then we come back to the room here. So, do you want to do that?
Thank you. So the second question from online, was if IOC is significant activities are living, how do we expect startups?
Yeah, I mean, I think the answer to that is pretty straightforward. We talked about it as well, right? It's a natural evolution, right? Yeah, I mean, you give birth to somebody today, he grows, he becomes an adult, he goes up. He doesn't mean it's the end of life. It's just time for somebody else to step in. It gets to a stage whereby the business just doesn't make sense anymore to that person. And it moves on and somebody else takes over. So just it's not a rest in peace situation, right? I mean, a lot of these IOCs that everybody reiterated the fact that with improved incentives, we will stay back and continue to invest. All you need to do is to listen. Thank you.
So we'll move to another person. Victor Uko from online. How can the private sector boost investors' trust, and what constraints do we face?
I'm going to pass that question to somebody that's about to ask this question, Dele Kuti. Dele Kuti is from Standard Chartered Bank. I think he has a regional role of responsibility for the oil and gas for Africa. So I'm a geologist. First and foremost, let somebody from the financial sector answer that question. So after this, we'll take one or two more questions because the sponsor is online. I want to give an address. We'll take the sponsor's address. It's not every time you do a FNAPE technical meeting. I understand the next one probably will be around OTC. So let's network, interact, and just take advantage of the fact that we are here.
Yeah, I think the important thing from private sector perspective, and the South there, right? Money follows where the opportunity is. When there's a clear opportunity to make return and the environment is very stable, the private sector will clearly follow through. But with all the challenges that Nosa mentioned today, it's going to be very difficult when the returns on capital is very good. I mean, we talk about Mozambique. We are involved in a project today where we're leading the support in Mozambique, where almost $120 billion of investment is going to the market, which is gas. Each time I sit in the committee, I'm globally responsible for oil and gas, or what we now call energy and infrastructure business. And when we look at that investment, I keep on saying that I'm globally at Nigeria. I can't push the same level of investment to Nigeria that has more reserve, 200 million trillion cubic meters of gas, compared to 100 trillion of gas that's available. So what is the challenge? What was things that we talk about in Nigeria that's really, not helping the private sector to really focus on, pushing capital to the country. Now, what is the government? You believe that will grow because that is a more capital, all the private sector now looking. Now, so one question I have for you, and I think it's kind of related to this, is the fact that exploration and production of oil do have the chemical engineer, and I've been in the banking industry for almost 25 years, where I get involved in pushing capital. Now, one of the key concerns for FDR is capital flow, yes, environmental efficiency. Now, there are concerns that the KMCs are leaving the country for years. And we don't believe that most capital providers are looking to ensure that capital will be deployed to a way where there will be no capital. So what is NAPE doing? What would be the advice of the to ensure that when this asset gets to the hands of the finance or local companies, operate in such a way that we can assure the capital provider that he is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you. Good question. We are in an era whereby everybody's talking about cleaner hydrocarbon, cleaner carbon emission and all that. But before I answer that question, let me just say something. I say this with no apology. I speak as Nosa. ESG is not new. It's just a tactical and smart way to come up with a connection that will address the goal of what is intended to achieve. There has never been, I've been in this industry for about 35 years, and there are people that have been here for longer than I've been. I'm unaware of one single project that gets sanctioned without HSE. All those things you talk about the ESG, they've always been there. They've always been there. Nobody builds a well without going through the strict environmental guidelines. Before ESG, in Nigeria, there was this foundation headed by Gabriel Nosa. What's it called? Oil Spill Foundation, not NDDC. Okay. Not Nosa, it was headed by Gabriel Nosa. The Amakre of Seplat was the executive secretary. I remember those days, many years ago, even when he was in Bookshop House, he was already there. And I was in Bookshop House 34 years ago. So what I'm saying is, I said that, taking nothing away. I was at ceremony this week. And if you check my status, there's something that I'll share with you. ExxonMobil leadership, Shell leadership, Saudi Aramco leadership, and virtually everybody that was there recognize the fact that in today's world, and in today's world, based on the expansion, rapid growth in population, there's enough space for fossil fuel to try and for the non-fossil fuel to come on board. What we need to do is to invite technology that will enable us to be able to provide clean fuel. I don't know whether you're aware, which was like a shocker. China has been able to come up with a new technology, they say, that provides coal, that produces coal, and is almost as clean as gas. So to address the ESG stuff, okay, I'm not aware of any company that doesn't take it serious. But in this world where it becomes a requirement for funds to be accepted, the natural reaction of the industry in the last 2 years, in terms of return on investment in fossil fuel and investment on renewable, speaks for itself. where you want the money to be. That's me speaking as Nosa. And to the corporate world, I can go and start telling you about technology. I'll open into SLB and start telling you this is the technology we have to produce in our work, in our but there's technology to address what you said, right? And if you're able to demonstrate that, I'm sure those vendors will be happy. What they want is some guarantee that you have a system that allows you to produce clean water, the clean environment, less contamination, and tick all the right boxes.
Thank you so much. So in the interest of our time, I think that is it for questions. I think we want to give the answer for speaker again. Thank you for such an insightful topic. And we thank our chairman for the recap. That was very helpful as well. So again, we don't have the time anymore. And there are two quick things we have to do just before we get you out of here. The first is hearing from our sponsor today. That is Big Oil. They are here. External Affairs will be giving a remark. He is attending remotely. So if you don't mind, you can ask Mr. Hamilton, is he? So he got the floor. Then, shortly after that, we are going to have a vote of thanks. Our coordinator, Lanison. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. This is Hamilton S.E. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
We can hear you, sir.
Okay, good evening. I'm representing my CEO, Olalekan Akinyomi, who unfortunately is not able to attend this session, and he's asked me to jump in on this call and deliver his remarks, his brief remarks. I've been on this call for the past hour, listening attentively to the presentation, and which was just delivered by Nosa, and listened to some of the questions and answers. And it's actually quite apt in terms of what Olalekan Akinyomi has to say. So first of all, we are at Lake Oil, we are very pleased to be sponsors of this NAPE event. Our Chief Technical Officer, as you know, Samolotu, is quite involved with NAPE as well. He also, unfortunately, could not be in attendance today. But getting down to it, the message from Lekan, my Chief Executive Officer at Lake Oil, basically addresses the opportunities in Nigeria, the fact that Nigeria remains a land of opportunity in terms of our oil and gas resources. We're sitting on trillions and trillions of cubic feet of gas, and natural gas, that is. And that in itself presents a myriad of opportunities across that sector. At Lake Oil, what we have seen in our experience.
I don't want to be in the board.
Sorry, there's some sound coming through. At Lake Oil, what we have seen in that experience is opportunities are sprouting up that have created a diversification stories for us. For example, with opportunities on the gas side with liquefied natural gas, we've spun off an entity called Cambridge LNG that will be focusing on building capacity, LNG capacity over the next 10 years, up to 10 million tons per annum. So that's actually ongoing, and we're in various stages of development of those sets of opportunities. We're actually in phase 1 right now. On the marginal field side, many of you know we partner with Green Energy International on marginal field in Otakipo, in Anthony local government of Rivers State, and we're seeing monetization of opportunities of the gas there. Going on to shallow water, we've got OPL 310, which is an offshore block there with pretty massive resources, and we're very, very close to beginning development, further development of that asset by drilling appraisal wells and taking that asset further. That also translates to the next opportunity, which is further deeper in deeper water, OPL 325, which is even bigger than OPL 310. All of these stories make the Lekol story today, and this is all happening inside of Nigeria. So we're proud to be associated with FNAPE. We're proud to tell our story. We're proud to share our experiences, and we hope that we'll have more opportunities to give updates as we progress. So once again, thanks again for the opportunity to participate and to sponsor this conference, and we wish you all a great weekend. Thank you.
I think the room is muted. Tunde, can we get the room unmuted?
Okay. Oh.
I think they were speaking with the FNAPE North America before. I guess that was the unmuted one.
You said?
Muted. No, the FNAPE North America is now muted. I think their voice, the audio was using that.
Yes, I'm muting them, but they need to do it also from their end. Maybe I will just chat them.
Okay.
You can tell from the atmosphere in the room that the discussion was quite interesting, very stimulating. You know, lots of questions were coming in, and people were really excited about it. So we promise to revisit this in a bigger way in the future. And then I also want to thank all members of my team that worked together with me on this. Some are online, not here today physically, and some are here in the room. I just want to express my thanks. I know we will do greater things going forward. So please, as you walked in today, you must have seen one or two messages on the registration desk. There is a barcode you need to scan. You can do that if you haven't done that on your way out. That's fantastic. It takes you automatically to our registration page where you can enter in your details. We can contact you and keep you abreast of programs as they develop. So we have a number of programs lined up for the year. We'd like to send you our program for the year and to engage you to participate as time goes on. One more thing. So Lake Oil has provided light refreshments. So we have some Afrofusion within outside. So please do justice to them as we move out in 1 or 2 months. And take the opportunity to network, to talk, to catch up with friends and people you haven't seen in a while. And yeah, just right. So just take opportunity and do some networking. Don't be too quick to go home and wait time has gone by. Yeah, please do that. These meetings will happen quarterly. We'll keep you abreast. Just watch out and watch the space, and we'll communicate with you and let you know when the next meeting will take place next quarter. So thank you once again. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. Have a safe day.
Hold on, sir. Start. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, one more thing. Hello, everyone. Maybe we could take a quick group picture before we leave. Yeah, let's just take a picture here. And please don't forget that there's some food outside.